Testing, testing. Okay, this is going to be the first video of a team building in the League format series. I'm pretty much just gonna cover how I do my team building, what I'm considering in the team builder pre-battle, how a battle plan implemented well can be built into the team builder, especially in the League format. So I got this idea at the end of building this team, and the only decisions left to make on this one are really kind of the EVs on the Heracross. So this week I am battling LA Cloister's Evan, who's the tier 4 of my division, but I only have to win a couple more battles to clutch out the early season and not have to give a shit for the later half. So I'm gonna try. I think I've already tried a fair bit on this team. It's about as hard as I've tried every other week, honestly. So let's get into it though. So Galvantula, because his team is super bug weak. In my early game plan, I was like, alright, Heracross can also just fuck him sideways if we get webs up. So we're gonna have webs, which won't be affecting Hydra, which is one of the main prey targets for Hera, and a Zelf, which is another one that Hera threatens big time, but that thing threatens Hera back equally as much. Everything else, Heracross can pretty much outspeed and dunk on post webs if I EV it right, but kind of over the course of this building, I'm thinking that I'm kind of going to take this Heracross a different way. These are very much not final EVs. If anything, that's about what I think I'm going to 100% keep. But honestly, I might even run some calcs and discover that that's an excessive amount of attack just because Hera gets like stupid high numbers when it megas. Thunderwave, because it's just kind of a last move slot. It can cripple a setup Pokemon just so nothing can come in, switch into Galvantula and use it as fodder. But Volt Switch, Buzz are really the only two coverage moves that Galv needs. Galv's job is going to be early game webs, maybe get a little bit of momentum in it, and it's probably going to be sack fodder. If I can use this Focus Sash as a pivot at some point, that's getting about as much use out of Galvantula as I think I can. Volcarona. So this Volcarona set actually had a fair amount of deliberation in it. I was looking at Evan's team, and again, Bug dunks on him, so that's kind of how we ended up here. But it a lot more thought went into it than that. So Quiver Dance and Bug were the only two moves that I was for sure on. After that, I did the EVs, and I was EVs on a setup Pokemon like this. The speed tiers of your opponent's pokes are super important. So because we're base 100 and Evan has another base 100, the way I see it is if this Volk dies to like a Scarfed Manaphy, that would be an unacceptable loss from the team builder on my end. So I'm going to at least speed tie if I make it up to +1 with a Scarf Volk. And the other reason for the max speed is because all of his potential Scarfers, if I don't go timid here, will definitely outspeed. A lot of the times, you know, I like to eke out a modest Pokemon when it doesn't matter, just because they crush so hard, but Scarfed Hydra, Scarfed PZ, and Scarfed Ape, all being at, 90, 98, and 95, are too much of a threat to Volcarona, because Scarfed Ape Rock Slide, I guess the Scarfed Hydra couldn't be that too dangerous, especially if I'm +1 Spit Def, but it could be enough at the end. And a PZ, could do it with a status move or just strong stab download. But Bug Buzz covers Hydra, PZ. I'm not going to hit super effective. It just has 40 and 50 HP, 40 Spit Def, so it dies to any special move. So I don't need Giga. Giga and Psychic were the two things I was considering just for Manaphy Cloister breaking and then Marowak Primeape breaking. Because if we go over here, I memean, obviously Primate dies to anything, but Marrow, especially defensive Marrowette, could actually be an issue for Volcarona. And Volcarona's highest hitting special move that's not resisted as fuck by Marrow is if I don't want to risk Hurricane, because Hurricane wouldn't be ideal against really any other of his team. Would have been Psychic. Yeah, go down the list, find base power Psychic. So I kind of wrote out a list and really determined that with a Bug Buzz, a +1, Bug Buzz really does enough to most things. Fiery Dance ended up being for Togekiss, because Togekiss is actually another threat here to Volcarona's sweep. So just having that Fiery Dance, if it gets hit by rocks, or if we get up to +1, I don't remember the calc on that actually. Let's go with a Plot Kiss. This is no bulk. This is pretty much the bulk set. If he doesn't have boots, Fiery is pretty short. What about Flamethrower actually? Maybe, but that 2% isn't really enough to convince me that running Flamethrower over Fiery is better here yet. Because you know you might end up with just another boost from Fiery, and then you have a chance to kill without rocks. Probably still won't, but something. Second QD is an option too. Just for shits and giggles, look at Z Savage Spin Out. That +1 does 50. With the Swarm boost. So then, yeah, basically after deciding that Buzz Fiery was enough to take care of his team, I was kind of deliberating between Psychic and Giga for this slot too, but because I'm running Swarm, and I think Volcarona should be threatening to him, like if I bring it in on a Hydra or a Tangela, I'd assume he'd switch out. I can use Sub to push me down into the Swarm range if I don't want to QD up right away, or I could just Sub and get an attack off, or Sub into QD, and then Sub again to lose another 25%, maybe get to Swarm if I've taken any chip damage. So that's kind of the reason Sub is there. Also, he has Wobbuffet, so if I want to, I can Sub on the Wobbuffet. If he does the smart thing and Encores on the first turn, then I can click Z and I can either hit him with the Z Buzz, or I can hit him with the Z Quiver and just use that as a free setup turn, because if I get enough Quivers, I don't really need the Z Buzz to break through his team anyway, so. Dog Trio's here for setup support. We've got a near max attack. We went Adamant here because Manaphy, his fastest thing, hits 328 if it is not scarfed. And even if I did max out him at Jolly 252, I wouldn't be outspeeding a scarfed Manaphy or any other of his potential scarfers, the APZ Hydra. So I didn't really see any benefit. I figured I might as well see if I can take a little Spadef hit, because Dougie has still pretty trash, but with the 68, we 100% live a HP Grass or an Overheat from a Netric, and then we can trap it and one hit it back. Oh wait, that's even if the Sash is broken. We have the Sash, so we live it anyway. We EV'd it to live it regardless. Maybe I need to EV it up a little bit more in case I break the Sash, but don't get chipped. But honestly, at this point, I'm really thinking fuck it. Doug, this is the custom set from last week, which is actually the exact same thing, nearly. EVs are, like, slightly different. Let's see what this looks like against a Manek. Go with the this one. So overheat. See, this is literally why 68 EVs matter. That 5%. So if I take any chip, I'm dead to overheat regardless. Or maybe not. 84 is a low roll. But probably. But maybe not. Okay, yeah, I don't think I give enough fucks to change that. Would I need that to be different for anything else on his team? What is Doug looking against Hydra like? It just dies. That could be nice. What about a Dark Pulse? Eek. Yeah, it's probably no. Whatever. Oh, whoops. Where do you have Manetric here? Let's... But we don't need, like, the extra little bit of attack anyway, unless we're... for Dugtrio's job. So Dugtrio, I'm also kind of like in the back of my head going into this matchup saying Dugtrio doesn't have a lot of use, but Stealth Rocks are good on his team, and if he brings Marowak, I want to remove that with Quake just to make Volcarona's sweep easier. So that's primarily Dugtrio's job here. If he doesn't bring Marrow, if I can get Rocks and a Memento into one of my setup pokes, that's as much as I'm asking for Dugtrio. Starmie, I just keep bringing it and it just keeps working, so it's the same, pretty much. I was kind of debating Recover over Ice Beam, but both of his switch-ins, potential switch-ins to Starmie, eat shit to a Life Orb Analytic Ice Beam. So if I see that coming, I can make that call. I'm kind of using Starmie a lot for the spin, honestly. I was thinking about not running Life Orb this week, but if I do get a +1 speed, and his team's kind of chipped, Starmie could honestly just pack it home with the modest +1 speed and Life Orb, so that's why I just ended up going Life Orb this week. And I'm not super worried about the longevity of Starmie, because in this match, Evan has a decently offensive team, and I've never known him to really play a long, drawn-out game, especially with this set, so I think I should be able to do anything I need to with Starmie, with even with this Life Orb being a timer on it. We're going to do Heracross last, because I still have to do a little bit of thinking about Heracross. This Ment set is a little funky. We're going to run a Choice Scarf, Moxie, mostly speedy Ments. This is kind of off. I wouldn't normally run something like this, especially with like 2 physical dragon moves, a rock move, and Tailwind on a Scarf set is pretty whack. But the idea here is Mence doesn't really need anything other than Outrage. The rest of these are pretty accessory moves. Maybe Dragon Claw, again, if he's already chipped and I can go for a little bit safer cleanup, don't have to risk those confusions. And Rock Slide is if I predict a Togekiss coming in. Because, so look at his team here. Everything just kind of actually, maybe I do need to make this max speed for the reasons I was talking about earlier. But like, if we get a Moxie boost rolling on this Scarf Mence, and he doesn't have anything that can check it offensively, meaning like a faster Manaphy, Hydra PZ, Marowak, or maybe a Sash. Like, I doubt he'd bring a Sash Cloister, but some kind of like emergency stop button, Wobbuffet maybe even. A Scarfed Outrage with these Moxie boosts, you know, if he picks up, like if he tries to sack something to it to get a little momentum back in his favor, he's going to be just feeding this Ment sweep. So maybe if we need to make a predict once to hit Togekiss, get it out of the way, but, you know, Galv, Dougie with Edge, Starmie with Bolt Beam, and Hera with Rock Blast should be able to remove Togekiss to clear up the way for this absolutely mindless Scarfed Outrage Ment Sweep. And this Tailwind's just going to be kind of like a last Hail Mary. Like, maybe if in the game I end up needing to use this as like a defensive pivot. Basically really just something to switch around, you know, it's not really defensive, and I'm not even using Intimidate for that. But maybe if I just need to like throw up a Hail Mary Tailwind to give Starmie or Heracross a little bit of speed to dunk on the rest of his team. So now we're into Heracross. So for the reasons I've mentioned earlier, the speed control of Galv or Ments, a really offensive, bulkier Heracross is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm not sure how much speed I'm going to have to put in, depending on either method of speed control, right? Because we're thinking that this Hera could either be on a plus ×2 speed or a ×1 speed, or 1.5 speed. But I'm also kind of thinking a bulky offensive check, something that can survive a hit and KO back, could be nice. And these sets kind of fall into the same range. Moxie is the ability before, because if I get status, I'm going to be Mega-ing anyway, so Guts doesn't do shit. But like maybe if I could pick up a stray KO with Moxie and get an unexpected boost. And Swarm is pretty much useless on this Hera unless I want to run Mega Horn over Pin Missile, just because a Swarm boosted Pin Missile ain't shit when you hit 2 of them. Sub, it's kind of for the same reason as Volk's sub. If I come in and I think he's going to switch out and I can get a free sub up and continue to pressure from there. Maybe if Tangela thinks it can get cute and Sleep Powder me or something stupid like that. That'd be a free turn, but so we're probably going to be max here. Harib is base 85 compared to his team. Okay, pause. I took a break, had to do some other shit, and I came back and watched my recording and realized that like the last 8 minutes of it were just stupid bullshit where I continued to make mistakes. Chiefly the one I will highlight was I was doing my speed tier calcs on a regular Heracross, which is base 85 instead of 70, so all my EVs would have been off when I Mega'd, and I could have gotten fucked if I was towing margin somewhere. So that's the first thing, and then I just made a bunch of mistakes, so fuck it, it's gonna get redone. When I was going back and watching it, I was also thinking about how useless this Dougie Spadef is, and I said that we don't miss out on any speed tiers by not maxing it, because I was, you know, obviously we can't outspeed the 135 Metric at 120, but we can outspeed the Azelf, and when I said that I was thinking Azelf isn't worth outspeeding, but a fast offensive Azelf is actually kind of a threat to this team, and Doug Trio's jobs, again, to hit Manectric or remove Marowak. We have, oops. Custom. We don't need to be Jolly, or we don't need to be Adamant to remove Marowak or Manek. I guess actually if we get Intimidated, that would do it, but I'm assuming we can get enough chip, and still that's a decent percentage. Oh, it's a -2. -1, ooh, -1 does it close. So, but because that is a threat, and for its Doug's because Azelf is a threat, and for Doug's outline jobs and kind of this bigger game plan, we don't really need it to be Adamant, so we are going to outspeed an Azelf and kind of just say fuck to that Spadef. And Azelf hits 361. Oops. 372, we can tone it there, pull it back to that and that. And maybe we survive something, maybe we don't, I don't care. Getting a edge or memento off against the Azelf would be better for me long term. Alright, and back to the Hera. Okay. So for Hera to outspeed with either the speed control coming from the webs, the wave, or the tailwind, I think I'm going to EV this off of assuming that I can keep webs on the ground, and if something gets waved or meant tailwinds will... Oops. The fuck was that? How did that happen? Wacky. If Mence gets a wind, we'll adjust for that mid-game, but I'm gonna assume I can keep webs up against this team. I haven't really talked about his hazard control yet. I mean, I said rocks are good for me against him, but I think Zelf rocks, Togs, or I mean Cloister spikes and spins, and Tog defogs, and Hydra defogs now. But I don't really anticipate any of that other than like a Rocker Zelf set, so I'm not super worried about, you know, I want hazards off for my sashes, and that obviously, the quad weakness and Mence would be all nice. But I'm probably going to be able to play relatively loose with Gelv because I'm not really expecting him to have a whole lot of hazard control for that. So mana hits 328. With the web drop, it hits that, right? Okay. So this rounds to 220. So if I want Hera to outspeed, it would need to be extremely invested, which would detract from that bulk and checking ability that I was talking about before. So that would be, you know, 12 EVs or fucking whatever to add to a defense or HP. I was also saying that we might need to max this just because 185 is such a ridiculous number that 225 could be overkill, but I'm not sure exactly what Calc's Hera needs to hit yet. We're still figuring that out in the building process here. So let's see. What would I want this Hera to be able to take? And when I say this, I am thinking about kind of in the way that when I played Python, the Lax was cursing up and it had like +2 curses, and Hera just kind of came in and ate Body Slam or Return or whatever it was, and to hit it back with CC. So if I'm on the fence with Hera about whether I wanted to go the bulky checking route or whether I want to go the speed control sweeper route. So let's look at Hera and compare it to some of Evan's potent threats. Again, against this bulky mana E. This is the 0 bulk Hera, so man, 50's kind of close. That 12 might actually make that difference there. I mean, in a perfect world, you know, no chip that makes the difference, but I probably can't be expected to play the game like that. He doesn't have sand, and his rocks are not great, so you know, maybe, but wouldn't count on it. What about a Hydra? Draco just dies. This thing dies 2.5 times to a pin missile. but we also die, and he is not affected by webs. So because Hydra is probably not going to be... I'm not thinking that Hydra is Heracross's job in this, so I'm not really going to take any of this into account. I'm not going to try and make this a Heracross that survives and, you know, like lures in a Hydra just to one-hit it back. That's just not an effective use of the Heracross in this situation, so I'm just not going to give a fuck about Hera's matchup against Hydra. If Hydra wants to come in and accidentally die to Hera, that's cool, but... PZ... Man, we don't really need a lot of bulk to take those unless he goes there and turns himself into an electric type or something like that. Then he one-hits, and, well, I suppose some bulk could stop that. He actually is a normal type if he Z converts. So, man, Pin Missile in close combat still just fucking crush. How much HP would I need to survive this number? Also, do I have another way to check this on my team? Doug would probably just die to a +1 Ice Beam. Unless I'm sashing a Memento at Gelv. If he goes electric, we can't wave it. Yeah, see, alright, this is what I'm talking about now. Like, if he goes +1/+1 on my team... Well, I mean, he converts, so actually he goes +1 everything. That makes checking it like this even harder. Pin Missile still might even do it, though that is insane. What just 185 base attack does. But yeah, so if Evan gets this up against my team, and it goes Thunderbolt, so I can't Thunderwave control it, that could be a situation where this Hail Mary Ments would come in, but I would need to bump that speed, which I'm kind of thinking about doing. Again, on that rewatch, when I convinced myself of how potent these Scarfers are, or just like checking the PZ at +1 offensively, just in that speed tier, I'm kind of thinking I might need to even go Timid on this. I mean, Jolly. So, alright, back to this problem at hand though, because this is a threat. This can run through this team if I'm not careful. So, something like... Jeez, that'd be a lot of HP. And we do need all of that attack to bonk it back, actually. This is with... Oh, that's an Adamant. We do have Adamant. Oh, well, we need all the attack. We can't even go Jolly there if we want to check that. Okay. All of this matchup is in my head. It's in the back of my mind moving forward. I'm gonna go see what else Hera needs to do. Right now, I'm kind of thinking about seeing what's the minimum speed tier I could sweep with kind of like a best case scenario, and then also tank with a worst case scenario. Because, you know, this is a pretty worst case scenario. I'm gonna check this out. A Suicide Lead would be decent. Boom, doesn't do shit. Suicide Lead is what it would make sense for Zelf to be on his team against my team, but the plot set also just does a decent chunk. Oh wow, that's Timid Life Orb. He should probably run Timid against me. We take that at that. So that's good to know. That'd be a nice tool in the back of the book. We do have enough ways to check. This is Elf set though, so that doesn't really need to be Heracross's job either. Togue dies to Rock Blast, and we die to Gleam or Air Slash, even though it's in his Elf, and I'm not gonna bother to type Togue in there. Cloister I bet takes a hit. Because Cloister has also stupid stats. 180 defense, 185. Actually no, it doesn't take it if it's an offensive smasher. If he wants to go the route of hazard control, like spike, T-spike. He still just dies. Alright, that's cool. Ape, or Marrow dies. Ape probably doesn't do shit. Right, what can Ape hit me with? Prime Ape, Choice Scarf. Oh yeah, that bounces against the bulkier one, and just dies too. Again, still adamant in this calc. Tang dies, Wob. Does Wob get one hit, or can Wob get a counter off? Ooh, alright, one hit, nice. Don't gotta worry about it. And Manek is overheat does a lot, so you know, being a little bulkier to survive an overheat could be nice. Alright, and from the perspective of speed tiers, what do we need to hit? Oh. Oh. Whatever. Alright, so this is outspeeding the Manaphy at 271, right? That's what we said. This rounds up 220. What kind of stupid fucking math was it doing? Alright, so we might be able to just run. We need to hit 220. That's 221. Okay, so 221 does Manaphy on webs, and everything's slower than Manaphy. What about Manek? Manek is 405 times 0.67. 71. Alright, so that's why I was so invested. I did have something going on earlier. But so that's outspeeding Manek. Alright, again, we have like Mence and Dougie can both kind of check the Manek, right? Can Mence check the Manek? Because we can resist a Thunderbolt if we don't get parried, which is not a situation I really want to be throwing Mence into, but we might have to. So oops, no, that's what did I say? 236 times 1.5 equals slower than Manetric, significantly slower than Manetric. Alright. So to figure out the Manetric speed, we're going to go 405 divided by 1.5 equals 270. So this Mence needs to be 270 min to outspeed Manek. So we'll go 271, just so we don't accidentally speed tie it. And then we might have to go back and look into this because, alright, this is going to be a project for post finishing up Hera, because I'm thinking because of the Scarfers I might want to speed that up just so I can't get stopped by like a Scarf Hydra, Scarf PZ, and just so we have another Scarfed offensive check. Yeah, alright, we should be able to outspeed a +1 PZ. I think that should be mandatory. Fuck it, we're doing it now. Okay. PZ. .306. So at this point we're gonna have to, yeah, go adamant to make it work. And I feel like if I'm gonna, Jolly to make it work, and I feel like at that point, if I'm going Jolly to outspeed Porygon at 306, I might as well outspeed Hydra, because I'm not losing any more of my attack after I've already dropped Adamant. I'm not sacrificing any EVs, so it's just sacrificing a little bit of bulk, which is not the most important thing on this set. So we need to hit 224, 225 so we don't speed tie. We're Jolly, we have 16. Do I care if that goes into a defense rather than an attack? I don't. It just needs to be an even number in case, an odd number in case I'm coming on stealth rocks. Because that rounds up and you get 1 more HP for coming in on stealth rocks at an odd number from full. That's why the damage calc will default to sets with like odd number HPs, if you didn't know that. Bonus fact, unless I remembered it backwards and it was even, but I don't think so. Okay. So we gave up on our bulk on those, and we just gotta finish up Hera. So this is the outspeed the neck Hera, which I don't think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with the outspeed the Manaphy on Web's Hera, which was 220 something. 221 is the speed I want to hit for a 220 Manaphy, I think that's what I said. Yeah, we're gonna hit 221. That way I can run Adamant. And I can run a fair bit of bulk. It's not as much bulk as I was looking at in the calc over here. Let's go back to Pori. So with this Heracross, I'm kind of ending up trying to make it do 2 jobs at once, which is generally something I would advise against. I'd, you know, make it be really good at 1 job, right? Because I'm not hitting like this arbitrary number that I was calcing a relatively bulky Hera with. But I'm also hitting a decent speed tier that if the game goes that way, it'll be convenient to be over there. I'm gonna stop clicking back and forth. I can do it with 3. So that'll outspeed Manaphy if it's not scarfed on webs. We're losing to Hydra, which you already said. Hera doesn't do Hydra. Hydra is actually kind of a threat here, but I think I can just play around it with offensive momentum. PZ, Hera might now? Poor... Am I in like the wrong gen? Well, we'll find out which calcs I calced in the wrong gen later. Yikes, whoops. Hera versus PZ, Z convert. Electric is my nightmare, so I'm gonna assume the worst. But now that we have this too, we even if he goes +1, that'll put him there. But we'll have a how many EVs do I throw on this? 140. 140. I hate you. 140. I hate you. There you go. 140. 252. So this will be times 2. Oh, if we get a immense wind off. Shit, I barely underspeeds. So that'll get us up to 240 or 442 against this 459. Do I want those extra EVs in the extremely niche case scenario that I'm immense tailwinding up against a Z converted PZ? Yeah, no, we take the hit either way, right? Because this is electric, so it's calculating the adaptability. It's not calculating the +1. Oh, now we probably die. Fuck. 116. Yeah, it's easy to make calcing mistakes mid-battle or during your prep. So, Okay, so now we're back to this problem of like splitting the functionality of it, right? It's not doing the bulky check job, and it's not doing the web sweeper job. It's half-assing both of them. because that's a half-assed bulky check, assuming I don't get shipped at all. And this is, I don't want to give up bulk, but if I want to hit that speed of poof. And this is on the adamant, which we are. Man, I think I'm just gonna go down the line and see if anything else influences this decision. We can do everything else. We're gonna bulk out Manectric. Can't cut any more speed into bulk. Do I want to cut some attack into bulk or speed? Actually, alright, here's one thing I can do. All of these things that I'm worried about are special attackers. So throwing your bulk in HP will bulk you up against special and defensive, but if I'm really only worried about like the special PZ sweep or the Manek, and honestly most of his team is special, he's got a much higher base total spec A than attack, and all his threats are special. We're going to add those 116 EVs into Spaduf. That way we have a marginally better chance at living it. How do we feel about that? This is to the 60, the outspeed, +1 PC in Tailwind. Yeah, okay, fuck it. I think I'm gonna run this towing the line set of doing a half-assed job of checking PZ under Tailwind while also doing a half-assed job of sweeping on webs. Or not even sweeping, but just being an offensive threat on webs. Shoot, you heard it here first. If I lose to Evan's Z Porygon, Z with its Z conversion, it was my fault out of the team builder, and I'm just gonna kind of believe that he won't do it. So that's a bad game plan, but it's my tier 4. Sorry. And that's it. I will probably try to have a follow-up video. Might try live narrating. Maybe live narrating, worst case post-com of the battle against Evan. And you'll get to see how all of this game planning and forethought went into it. So, peace.